Is this toxic masculinity? What about this? Or this?
For Frodo.
Well, I didn't think so either. Yet, there must be some people who do. People with a lot of power and influence, because all of these things are quickly becoming curated and transformed, some even banished. And so one has to ask, what's the issue with either of the above examples? And why would one seek to get rid of them? First thing that comes to mind is that some people find men having fun threatening. The more joy, the more ecstasy the men feel, the more offensive and threatening it is to them. But why would joy be threatening to anyone? Well, there's probably no straightforward answer to this. But I do have a theory or two. One is that some people simply do not understand the joys of masculine triumph. When they see men celebrate a goal, for example, screaming at each other, tearing each other's t-shirts, all they see is aggression. And that's because these people have never experienced the feeling of scoring a winning goal in injury time, never came clutch at the last moment in a video game, and never really did anything that would allow them to enjoy this intoxicating feeling of peak masculine joy. The feeling when you deliver for your tribe in the last crucial moment. Something that every healthy child should experience at one point or another. The feeling they will want to chase forever. The feeling that will push them forward. No, all they see are madmen, aggressively running around, brainlessly kicking the ball and then acting like animals after having scored. A crowd of wild animals going collectively insane. They see no joy in this. They see a threat. It makes no sense to them, because they've never experienced it. In this scene where Aragorn leads an army in a suicidal raid toward the armies of Sauron, these people do not see glory. They do not see sacrifice. They see mad men, mad, aggressive men. They misread the determination on Aragorn's face as madness and aggression. They subconsciously cringe as they remember all the trauma of being nothing but weak and afraid throughout their lives. And so they hate everything about this spectacle. They want it to disappear. In this Fight Club scene, they don't see lost men desperately trying to recoup whatever masculinity is left to them. They see, again, animals, danger, threat. They can't go much deeper to try and understand what makes these men crave this kind of energy. Their brains are too paralyzed with fear and disgust. Gym culture, as flawed as it is, also wonderfully exposes their insecurity. Listen, I'll be the first one to admit that I'm not a fan of the gym bro culture. I don't like teens taking steroids as much as the next guy. Yet at the same time, it is this exact culture that perfectly portrays just how sad these people are. Because the fact that muscular, strong young men make them freak out so much is an irrefutable proof to their impotence. They call gym bros far-right, toxic, homophobic, and even anti-Semitic. Gym culture is now everything that is wrong with the world. These people hide behind the mask of empathy, while in reality the only thing that fuels them in their crusade is their insecurity-driven hatred. They pronounce themselves protectors of the needy, the empathetic guardians of the weak.
Fuck. Drive me nuts.
Yet, where are they when male suffering is mentioned? The fact that males constitute about 50% of the population but account for nearly 80% of suicides. The fact that male fertility and testosterone are in free fall. The fact that men are dropping out of college, out of workforce en masse. Be it behavioral addictions like video games and porn, or substance abuse like alcohol and hard drugs, they are looking for an escape. And the people in power are obviously quietly happy because they want everyone to be a fat, mediocre, limp-wristed
Consumers.
because then they will no longer feel threatened. And so that is the very reason behind them pushing against any culture that glorifies strong masculine energy, any culture that glorifies heroism. And not only that, because if you make the men weak, who will stand up to fight against the oppressive systems? If you make men passive, you can rule them indefinitely. They're just afraid of us. And understandably, they want to change what men are. And change it, they do. One small step at a time. Taking off a jersey during a football match now is punished with a yellow card. 2 yellow cards, and you're out of the game. Lord of the Rings, the ultimate story of temptation and heroic masculine redemption, gets a reboot with a female lead who can one-shot any opponent, while every male character is shown as a weak, two-faced half-brain who stands in the back watching the woman defeat all the enemies and solve all the issues. Yeah, how do you like that, macho man? Wait until we ruin every single show and piece of literature you've ever enjoyed.
Fight Club, which is an allegorical story about gay men.
Fight Club remains one of the most wildly misinterpreted books. But this hits it on the mark, actually. Fight Club is very clearly about men dealing with their toxic relationships with each other and their fears of expressing intimate emotion by just beating the snot out of people, of each other, rather than address their own feelings of either mediocrity, inadequacy, or, as put so eloquently in this video that I recommend you watch the whole thing of, suppressed homosexuality.
Bullshit.
And the selection of the media they try to rebrand is not accidental. Football is a male sport. It's packed with tribal fighting behavior. Lord of the Rings, in the author's own words, quote, is of course a fundamentally religious and Catholic work, end quote. It is a heroic masculine story, one that inspires the reader. Fight Club is something that men always rally around. It's about rebelling against the old world. It's about saying no to the pointless consumerism and capitalism. It's about regaining one's identity. And it's something that gets us going probably more than anything else. And they just can't stand it. They are fulfilling their revenge fantasies. It is payback time. In their limitless hatred for men, their fear of us, their absolute blindness to the consequences of their actions, they're pushing regular men toward the actual toxic side of masculinity. Because you see, all of this alienation of young men has created a space for bad actors to take advantage. People like Andrew Tate or Nick Fuentes thrive in the vacuum created by these people. They embody the anger that young men are feeling.
You know, these more middle-class, working-class neighborhoods in my generation, they're lost. You know, porn is a problem. Weed is a problem. Motivation is a problem. This is a generation that, like, they hate the men. They hate the men. You're not allowed to be masculine. If you act like a real man, you are hated.
It's not without reason that these people are becoming famous. It's not without reason that scammers and snake oil salesmen like Trump are being elected. By taking away any form of healthy masculinity and calling everything that men do toxic, they've successfully manufactured this odd us versus them dynamic, where men feel the need to unite against the system and defend what is left of their identity. And so bad actors are profiting directly from the fact that men feel more lost and cheated than ever before. They're using this void to scam these young men, sell them useless courses, crypto scams, increasingly flawed and extreme political agendas. They're selling hatred and anger as the new form of ultimate masculine traits. And so, paradoxically, by overzealously prohibiting healthy, normal male behaviors, they have pushed men to the extreme, creating a generation of actual toxic males. Males who learn from the worst men imaginable, where they perceive ruthlessness as strength, women as objects, empathy as weakness. The exact opposite of strong masculinity of yesterday. This is not to say that toxic masculinity has never been a problem. No, toxic masculinity has always existed. Drunk men picking fights out in the streets, men abusing their wives and children. Of course, there's always been plenty of that. But you're not solving any of this by removing the healthy masculine archetype, are you now? You're simply creating a void that is quickly being filled by the most toxic, narcissistic men there are.